Has anyone? Oh, there he is. There's Phil. He's here.
Oh, are we live?
We're live. Had to start before 15 minutes, or LinkedIn will kick us out.
Man, you hit the button awful quick.
LinkedIn's going to ban us.
We got newfound chairs.
Dude, these chairs are amazing.
These are amazing. My feet still fit right up in there.
And you're comfy.
Oh, well, I hit my knees.
Well, that's not good. Where are you hitting your knees on?
Oh, the table.
Oh, well, yeah, put your feet there. Probably going to hit
Okay, all right. Are we going?
We're live.
What are we talking about?
Well, today is fun because we're going to talk about a discussion we've had with a number of people this week that are business owners, and what is risk management and who should be helping you with that.
Oh boy.
Because I think there's a misnomer, and there's some people out there not helping their business owners where they should.
Yeah, and I think one thing to remember about risk management, that's a big, broad subject area. But just think of it this way: risk management is protecting your bottom line, protecting your long-term value, the equity you've built in your business, protecting you as the owner personally. It does all of these things, and it's one of those things that gets greatly overlooked. When you look at risk management, outside of payroll, usually your work comps, your liability insurances, your fleets, your health insurance, all the stuff that goes in, that's the biggest expense you have in the company.
And what typically happens, Phil? You're good, right? I need insurance for risk. So you get your general liability, you get your workers' comp.
Yeah.
If you offer any other benefits, you get those in line.
Yeah.
And then the agent, your risk manager,
Disappears.
doesn't come back for another 11 months.
That's about right, if then.
And about 30 days before your next date, they send you something to sign to renew your policy.
We got a client right now we're dealing with, I won't name names, but literally got the renewals in 12 days on their commercial insurance package policy. And this is one of our consulting clients. And I got the text yesterday, hey, got your renewal. Well, we're too late. I mean, it is what it is.
And here's why it's important for you as a business owner. Look, part of this process is risk identification and risk mitigation and risk transfer, right? Maybe insurance is the right answer. Maybe it's not.
It could be planning. You got to balance things like, we've got a client that, for example, it's buying a new airplane. Calling it an airplane's not appropriate. Buying a jet, right?
Buying a tool for his company.
Buying a tool for his company. But bottom line, the premiums on that are outrageous. I mean, they're outrageous.
They're expensive, yeah.
They're very expensive. Now, so then we start having the conversation about, what does Umbrella set over, and all these comments? Well, I don't know. Well, probably not. Well, gee, I just don't know. Well, if the premium is cost prohibitive, you got to insure the jet, because it's a multi-million-dollar investment. Yeah. But from a liability perspective, how much overall coverage do you have? You don't pick where those planes go down when they don't want them to. I mean, so it can go down about anywhere. But other things, there's you don't want more insurance. Right? When you're transferring the risk over to an insurance company, you don't want more than you want. You don't want less than what you want. You got to have the right amount, but that takes planning, it takes strategy, it takes conversations, it takes assessments. You got to really pay attention to what's probable and what's possible.
And with that said, sometimes you can self-fund that risk because it's not a very probable or likely event, but you put money aside in case it does happen, so you're okay. What makes the most sense from a tax strategy? What makes sense from a business planning strategy? What makes sense from an insurance strategy? And I think it's important for business owners, if you are not having these conversations 90 days before a policy's due, and you're not going through all of your stuff and asking these questions, you need to.
Yeah.
Because you're probably paying for stuff you don't need, and you don't have stuff that you do need in those cases. And, the next thing, and this is kind of near to our heart because it's happened to us, is crisis management.
Oh, boy.
What happens if the unthinkable happens? Are you ready? Do you have a plan? Do you know who to call? Do you know what steps to take?
We literally just went through this past summer with a client, had a horrible accident, and it was truly an accident. I mean, there was no negligence on anybody's part. It just, things happen. And, a double fatality and just a horrible, horrible situation. But those are the things that Dave's talking about, is how do you handle those moments? What's your process? What are you going to do? What's the long-term ramifications after something like that? Or is it going to bring audits from government agencies? Is it going to require you to go spend a bunch of money to change things? Are you going to be able to get a renewal on your insurance? I mean, there's just all, and if you do get a renewal, is it going to be so cost prohibitive it destroys your bottom line? These are all things you got to look at. Yesterday we were in a conversation in beautiful Veneta, Oklahoma.
Love Veneta. Clanton's.
Yeah, man.
Clanton's Cafe. If you haven't been to Veneta, Clanton's, so almost 100 years old. It's one of those places you need to visit.
Great mountain, great
66?
Great calf fries. Yeah. Oh, so good. But the conversation was there's a company that's renewal went up $100,000 over the previous year. So put yourself in a position. Not a lot of businesses make a net profit of $100,000.
Fact.
Okay, I mean, so you've got to really, this is a extremely critical issue that you got to pay. And this is something else, Dave. Risk management is not a once, like you said, not a once a year thing. Yeah. It's a continuum. You've got to constantly be evaluating, constantly be looking, paying attention to changes in your business, in your clients' requirements. If you go get a new client, they may have certain requirements in their contract with you that require you to provide certain things, do certain things. We've seen clients where they were all excited. They went out and got this new client, and then they say, well, we require you to carry 10 million umbrella policy. And they've got a $2 million. So they got to go buy $8 million more of umbrella coverage. All this stuff costs real money. So you got to think about all these things.
Well, let's go back to crisis management. At 2 a.m, you get the call that something bad's happened, and you don't have a plan of how you're going to manage it and how you're going to deal with it. You got a problem.
Yeah.
You got a huge problem. So I would encourage you in your crisis management piece, lay out a plan. If this happens, if we have an accident that results in something horrible, who do I call? Who do I need on the team? What time are we going to meet? And when are we going to start working through all the stuff we need to work through? Yeah. The last thing I want to talk, this is near and dear to my heart, it's business continuity planning, because I lived this as a kid. If you don't have a continuity plan for your business, you need to get one.
Yeah, because you're out of business usually.
Well, I watched my mother try to manage a business that she knew nothing about and got it taken from her. Because there was not a plan in place,
and people took advantage.
And people do take advantage because there was no written plan of who did what and how it was going to happen. Yeah. And I would hate for any of your children to live through what I lived through and watch what happened to my mother. God rest her soul, and then how she rebounded and responded, which is the grace in the story. Yeah. But if you do not have a business continuity plan, this is part of risk management.
And when do you start those, Dave? Succession plans, business continuity plan.
10 years before you want anything.
Yeah,
the day you open the business,
you got to start it. You got to start it that day. You've got to have, as a pilot, I love pilots. They're the most anal human beings on the face of the earth. Thank God, because I like my pilots full time, just like my surgeons.
Fly don't fly.
Right. But I think that you got to have a plan for every possible scenario. Dave loves the example of the Mike Tyson quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And we believe the opposite. You better have a plan when you get punched in the face. That's when you need a plan. If you're just going through life and everything's perfect, that's what happens. People get lulled to sleep.
Let's make it a plan comment. Everybody has a plan until the engine catches on fire.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you want a plan when the engine catches on fire.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Do this, do this.
And know what to do so you don't kill everybody on the airplane.
Well, and the greatest example of that is the gentleman that landed the plane in the Hudson.
Absolutely. Yep.
Sully, right?
Sully, yeah.
I mean, if this guy hadn't followed the protocol, the plan that he had drilled a million times over in his mind, now, he had curveball stone aim that nobody even drilled, so he was just an outstanding aviator also. But
the plan helped him to stay in place.
That's exactly right.
Staying ahead of the problem so nobody died.
That's exactly right.
Look, risk management is more than just showing up at your door with a policy a month before it's due. Your risk management expert should be along your side, helping you every day of the week you need help, and answering questions, helping you do all these things required in risk management. If you guys need help, let us know. We want to see you be successful. We want you to avoid the things that we've seen happen to other companies.
Yeah, scary stuff out there, but it's all, you can greatly mitigate the potential damage by just having a good plan and staying on top of it. Just pay attention to it. It doesn't take hours and on hours to stay on top of it, but you need to have it built into your daily activities that you're paying attention to stuff. And then sit down with those critical team leaders throughout your organization and have conversations about it. We're talking about a couple hours a month, but have these conversations because it can be the difference between surviving and not.
That's a fact. So with that, Dave and Phil, we are out of here.